It's a door. I'm not proud of it, but it worked. I should have done it before I put it on. Give me a little bit more. Whee! Here's where I'm at. These guys, made from that rolled metal, are the match for this curve and need to go all the way to the back of the car. This guy is the old roof, comes out too far because the old roof was much larger arch. So I'm going to cut off above the blue tape, which puts me above the rail on the inside, above this rail, which is mangled up right there, but that's fixable. Above that rail all the way back, then I will clean all that up before I cover it. And these guys will be the new bead rail. They are looking slick. Look at that. Nice. And I made them the size that I could easily form, instead of making one big long one where it's going to get all wonky. Plus, my metal roller at my workshop doesn't do 53 inches, which is roughly the length of this thing. So I just did 3 24 inches, and I'm going to cut the difference off. I'll just tack it in the middle. But once I get this part fixed underneath, so that that's gone, it'll let this piece sit, because right now it's pushing it up. So this will be the support for it, and I'll clean all the metal so that, because once it's hidden, I can't, cover it. So I'll put in primer and all that stuff. Then this piece is next. Then this decorative, the faux run, as I'm calling it, is last. So you can see how my roof bulges right here. I got to get the roof to stop bulging, and to do that, I'll probably make a little tab inside to kind of squeeze it together. And remember, we're still squeezed here, so our bead line, as you saw with my super straight bar, still super straight and super flat from the calibration mark. Still super straight and flat and level. So that's what we're doing today, to try to finish up the majority of the roof. Metalworking anyway. Over here, I gotta cut this and re-weld it because it buckled after I was done. And then the back will take some time, because we remember from last episode, that guy, the Beetle roof comes down more at sharp turns, so that's gonna have to match. So I started cutting this back off because I'm gonna have to roll this a little bit. And I'll probably just do that with a big piece of pipe and a little tappy with the hammer, maybe a little bit of heat to give it that quick bend to match up with up here. Because that's what buckled here, is it? Yeah. Annoyed me. Okay, so let's see what happens there. Cut that off. And this fits so much better now. I'll keep that bead going. And then once I finalize the roof, I'm just going to fix that big bump right there. So that's the bump because the roof arches a little more at the end. So I'm going to zip cut it here, bend that fold in all the way across the roof, and then repeat for the other side before I put these guys in. These are just decorative. The support really comes from underneath. Won't need to get rid of this bead because it'll be covered up, and I will sand it all off and primer it so it's hidden inside. I'll primer the backs of these, I'll tack them all on, I'll primer the front, and then I've got a really cool idea to make this go on. So I'm not proud of it, but it worked. So I took my big freaking pliers, the curve from this section to this section needs to be matched in here. I should have done it before I put it on, but I didn't realize how much of that curve there was until I put it on. So this kinked up, that bent, whatever, you know, but the top of the roof was fine. So I took my big freaking pliers, slid it under there, found the right line, and gave it a little kink. I'm like, ah, crud. Now I've got a bend. Not what I wanted. But that's what a hammer and dolly's for. So I've already started smoothing this out. I'm about right here, and it's smoothed out fine. So I'm just doing my hammer and dolly thing. This is underneath. You know, do the bouncy, and I'm already smooth up to here, and I'm about a foot in. It's getting the kink out, and it's holding its bend. So I guess it's not stupid if it works. I'm sure there's a much better way to do this. The better way would have been to realize that the kink, you know, the bend was there before you put it on, and gave it that little kink on like a roller or something. Although I don't think my roller would have fit this sheet metal. No, probably not. May not look like much, but man, I just came a long way. So hammer and dolly. Check this out. So that guy is almost perfect. Where the other side that I haven't done yet bulges out like crazy. Focus. So definitely getting somewhere. It's actually pressed up just a little bit due to the pole I've got in there because I'm holding the pole in place while I weld. But that is really nice. Ooh, shiny. Got rid of all the paint, all the primer, all that stuff. Time to put on these guys now. So I'm going to throw some primer on that because who cares about painting if it's going to be hidden by this. And then I'm going to make this little divot. And start tacking them in. And make that roof roll to that so that this bead line goes all the way to the back. It looks like it's all bumpy, but honestly it's smooth to the touch, but all the wire wheel, different angles of the wire wheel as I was going down it, makes it look like it's not flat. Trust me, it's flat. Slap some paint on it. Open the door so it wouldn't suffocate. Did the same thing to the other side. I think it's time to start some fabricating of those rolls. They actually go on there really nice. Stay tuned. For you it'll be a few seconds. For me it'll be, you know, probably another hour. Boom. The coolness has been extended. That is it's a good start. It's a good start. Yeah, baby. Check that out. The bead line, the roll, starting to come together. This side's even better after I worked at it. Got the roof to roll perfectly. There might be a little smidgen of an issue here and here, but I'm going to get up under there and whack it a boom to boom on them. But that was between welding and the hammer and dolly and all sorts of other work. That was 9 hours. I am calling it a night. My arms are whooped. So now I just got to taper off the bead on both sides to make it identical. But it is starting to line up. I am super excited for that line. Check that out. Yeah. Another day down. Hopefully I can finish those bits of metal in the back tomorrow, because I'm thinking about doing the hatch this week, but I really don't want to stop when I'm almost done. We'll just have to wait and see where I end up. Well, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Is that how they say it? So here's what I'm doing. I took the faux roll off because I'm missing a big chunk of the roof. Not big, but you know what I mean. In order to roll down to. So this all reaches to the full roll. But this little square back here was all jaggedy edged and all that stuff from the bug cut. Thought I cut it cleaner. Obviously I didn't. Past Jason messed up. So I'm going to make myself a paper template. So I'm going to make myself a paper template that fits here to about here. Because I really don't need all that. Because I can support an inside. There's still a big piece of metal that's going here, don't forget. And then there'll probably be one more pillar made out of square tubing in order to support, give it just a little extra support. So that'll support this guy. But what I'm going to do right now is make this little piece out of some of the roof metal. Remember that big chunk of roof I cut out in the middle because it had a big hole in it and it steams and all that blah, blah, blahs? Well, I can still use it. And that means that more German metal goes back on the car. So I'm going to take this piece of scrap, cut it to match this guy, clean it up real good, weld it in this little spot right here to give myself something to weld the roll to. So there you go. Okay, let's see if that worked. Hey, look at that. That works really nicely. So remember a while back I said that there's definitely paint over the paint? Well, I've never seen car paint do this before. It's peeling up. I've seen this before. I'm pretty sure that's latex. And they would not put latex on a car at a factory. That's my guess anyway. Wowza. Wowza. That is a slick looking line. Got it tacked in. Trying to get a feel for it. I still need to make the taper on the end, but yeah. That is exactly what I was going for. The roof line. So it's going to take me a million little tacks on this side and a million little tacks on the other side to tack weld it in. But I know that makes for a boring YouTube. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to continue to tack all this, but for the rest of the video, I'm going to work on the back hatch. So current Jason is going to keep welding this, but future Jason is going to film the back hatch getting shrunk. That's why I turned around the car so I can get to the back hatch easier whenever the weather's nice. And that way, future Jason, in the next half of this video, will be working on fitting the back hatch in. Just like a baking show, I've already done my measurements. So pretend these are those little cups you see whenever they're cooking food. So I measured the outside of, or not the outside, I measured the inside from that roll. So remember, buses have that roll on the outside. Well, I'm not using that, but that gives me an indicator of where the roll is on the bus. So I measured from the top of that, and that's my calibration point across. And that's 39 3/8. And then this guy is 48 in the same spot. Boom, boom. But I want to keep this section at 6 inches. I want to be able to keep, there's a roll right here down to this level, so I have something to weld to. So you got to cut out that too, or not cut out that too. So basically what it boils down to is there's 4 and 5 inches 5/16 inches. I can't talk today. Which is about 109 millimeters on both sides that I've got to cut out. So I've got to cut those sections out. Then I drew a straight line there because the top is smaller, can't calibrate it, so I'm just going to cut it straight, squish it all back together, cutting out these sections and these sections, zip, squish it all back together, and weld them back up. My original plan was to not care about this, get rid of it, and just cut basically this section out and then a little bit on each side. But I want some strength. So, plus, I'm not going to use this, although I may transfer that to the side that's not the hinge side. So, that'll still come in handy. So, time to get the choppy choppies. Always wear your protection. God. It's a cute little door, but I need it to look like this. And I've also got to get rid of this ridge because this ridge isn't part of the door or the car. So, but that comes later. So what I really want to know is, why did none of you warn me that I was doing this wrong? 39.38 inches from edge to edge. I made this 39.38 inches from edge to edge. Put down in the comments what you think I did wrong. It fits all right. But I forgot it needs a gap. And I am so tight, it's ridiculous. So I need to cut like another inch, so I'll take a ½ inch from this and this, both sides, and yeah. That is a whoopsie. I am so close, I screwed up. Oh well. Live and learn, right? I forgot there's a gap around it for the gasket and all that other stuff. But it's close, I mean it works. So, yeah, it's not tinkering if you have the instructions. I definitely don't have the instructions. Yep, back to the drawing board. Choppy time. Okay, let's see what that did. Why are you in my way? Oh, it's actually looking really good out here. Yeah, I did it. I am about... It's funny, because the bottom fits, the top doesn't. So I think it's splayed inward, like it's in the top too much. So I may have to make these a pie wedge out. Nice. Okay, so obviously I got to splay it out a little bit. It's going to come out a little bit because the bottom looks good. The top, I might have pinched that in too much right there. So that is my fault. Live and learn, right? Never done this before. The bottom hatch is going to get the same shrinkage, but it may actually, it'll hook up, it'll close different because I don't have a lot of room left, so it'll shrink both height and width. It'll be very small, let's just say, because I don't have a lot of room. These corners are still down too far, and those are definitely not the lights for it. I've got some lights from a split window bus for that, so they'll be shrunk up in the same level as the car, the heater channels. But that's pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely a start. Get a little pie wedge, pull that out a little bit there, and pull that out a little bit there. That'll fix that, and then I haven't cut that piece yet, so that might actually solve my gap on the top. We'll just have to wait and see. But it's sunset time, so I think I'll go get some dinner. There we go. So I did the top beam because that's going to be the easiest part. And I started making a shim system because I measured a normal bus, you know, a 79 bus that I've got. And it just happens to fit this pegboard. So the idea is that if I make it the right shim all the way around, you know, obviously the top is too big because it's resting on the bottom. That's here nor there. That can be adjusted whenever I hang it. The shims are doing the trick. Tack welded those guys up. I definitely need to pie cut that one because I screwed that one up and that one too. But I kept a bunch of that material. You ever wonder what a cross section of the back hatch looks like? There it is. So I am literally going to make a little wedge. Go right in there. Just make a little pie slice. Kaboom. Yep. And then once that's all done, I can worry about the rust of the bottom because it's not, and get rid of this piece. The roundness is going bye-bye because it won't be here, won't be going down the side of the car, and it definitely won't be on the back hatch. So there we have it. More welding. Starting to be a sunset. Starting to get all that tack welded in. It is one solid piece, but it is flimsy at best. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm not worried about that pie slice and that pie slice because that's going to be flat anyway. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a piece that goes flat across the bottom, up and over, because remember, no back window. So I'm going to make the window plug out of the metal I've got and make that plug go right down to the bottom of this bump because I don't like that bump right here. I don't need that. So I'm going to put a plug that just happens to be 2 jobs in one. Yeah, that's exactly what I can do because then it will save me having to make a plug and then a plug, and then I might even just knock these out real quick since I'll already be cutting metal. We've got a lot of that body still left. There you have it so far. The hatch is starting to come together, or shrink, I don't know. This Saturday, which is your tomorrow, because this video comes out on Friday, I'm going to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Starbird car show. I don't have a booth or anything. I'm not nowhere near that famous, but I will be running around with my Mohawk and I'm going to be filming cars. So if you happen to see me, swing by and say hi. And I've got 2 questions for you if you want to be on camera. So swing by and see me if you see me. If not, watch my video next week, and you'll see the car show from my point of view. Won't just be air-cooled. Starbirds are huge. So, yeah. Spending the day there. So, check that out. It's the door. Well, there you have it. That's as far as I've made it. It has been a very busy week, both at work and here in the garage. Stay tuned for more. Like and subscribe. And, you know, ding the bell if you want to make sure you know whenever the next video comes out. And keep up with my shorts so you can see little snippets all week long. But also, hit me up on Instagram. You can see some behind the scenes and other stuff that I do. Because I'm not just a car guy. I'm not a car guy, but I'm not just doing car stuff. So, check it out. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. And get out in the garage, man. You got projects to do.